DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan here with DocTalk. Sure glad you joined me today. We're going to talk about injection sites in beef cattle. It's a huge issue, something that we do every day, something we take for granted. Let's talk a little bit about it and let's move on down the road. Thanks for joining us, and more after these messages.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
This segment brought to you by the new Hired Hand Portable Cow Sprayer. For more information, visit cowsprayer.com.
Hey there folks, Dr. Dan from DocTalk. Thanks for joining me here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, and we're talking about injection sites. And really when I break it down, I start to think about injection sites, there are many different topics that come to mind. So today what we're going to talk about is choosing the proper equipment, making sure that we use the proper sites on the, as far as anatomically on the cattle. We're also going to talk about proper injection techniques, and then we're going to talk about remote injection techniques that are being used more and more out in the field. When we start to think about using the proper equipment, the first thing that I start to pick out is the proper needle. And depending on what type of injection that we're going to do, we'll have different needle sizes, and depending on the viscosity or the size of the animal that we're giving the injection to, will have different gauge sizes. So as we move down the number in gauges, the bore of the needle gets bigger. And so most of the needles that we're going to use in beef cattle production are going to be 16 and 18 gauge needles. It's going to come in the silver and the green caps. Sometimes we'll use 14 gauge when we're giving intravenous injections to cattle, but for the most part, for sub-Q and IM, we're going to use 16 and 18 gauge. Now the length of the needle starts to change depending on the type of injection that you're giving. If you're giving a subcutaneous injection, which is between the skin and in front of the muscle, so in that space between the skin and the actual muscle tissue in the neck, that's a subcutaneous. And that we're going to use a shorter needle. I like to pick out a 5/8 to 1/2 inch needle, 16 or 18 gauge. If you're going to do an intermuscular injection, which we want to bury in the muscle, which when I get my flu shot, it's an IM injection, we're going to use a 1 inch to 1.5 inch length needle. In that, usually we're going to use the 18 gauge rather than the 16 gauge for a lot of our IM injections. Most products today are sub-Q, but if we do go IM, we want to make sure that we use that type of needle. When we talk about vaccine and proper vaccine storage, whenever you're giving injections, remember this. The bottle of vaccine is very sensitive to the ambient temperature. So on a hot day, we want to make sure that we're not drawing out of the bottle. We want to make sure the bottle's in a cooler where it's cool, and also in a place that's dark, because ultraviolet light can kill the modified live vaccine. So when we're looking at proper equipment, not only do we need to think about the needles, but we need to have coolers that we can keep temperature and UV light away from the products that we're using so that they don't become denatured. Today, syringes, most people are using plastic monoject syringes. We used to use the stainless steel and glass syringes a lot that were not disposable, but now they're priced at a point in time where most people are going to use those. Use the smallest one that you can to handle the load of the vaccine or the product to deliver that, because it's easier to handle in your hand and it's cheaper to buy. We're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the proper injection site map on the steer or heifer. You're watching DocTalk. We're glad that you joined us. Come back and see us here after these messages.
The BQA tip of the day, sponsored by Beringer Engelheim Vetmedica Inc.
I'm Dr. Kip Lukasevich with Production Animal Consultation. Today's BQA tip of the day is bud box facilities. We're at a feed yard today that has a bud box. It's becoming more and more popular. The advantage of the bud box is that it's a facility that has open sides. Has one solid side, which is the gate, which they come in through. But it takes advantage of cattle's natural behavior in that cattle like to see what's pressuring them, and they like to return where they came from. And so the way our alley is set up is so that the cattle come into the box first, and they make a turn, and they come back around, and then they go right down into the double feed alley, and they go straight, which cattle prefer. The advantage of the bud box is that if we have one that is giving us problems going into the alley, and sometimes that happens, we have a gate here that we can swing and bring around to narrow that up and have him go in. And if we have one that is kind of ornery and doesn't want to cooperate with us that way, we can easily come through here and come through the gate and work from the outside. And if we need to, we can have a flag or something that we can utilize to work from the outside and have the cattle come in as well. Both ways work really well, and that's how you stay safe working in a bud box.
Say this is a calf that's been run through the chute a few too many times. Going through the chute stresses cattle, causing them not to eat like they should. Luckily, Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ provides proven protection against key respiratory diseases in a single shot, with just one trip through the chute. Talk to your veterinarian about Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ, and soon your calves will relax and eat like a whole different animal.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan from DocTalk here. Be sure to join me for Drover's Cowboy College, June 20th and 21st in Springfield, Missouri. We're going to have experts covering topics such as cow nutrition, treatment options, low-stress cattle handling, genetic selection, and economics on keeping your cow profitable. Be sure to register. Go to www.droverscowboycollege.com or give us a call at 877-482-7203, and I'll see you in Springfield.
Do your cattle struggle with pink eye, BRD, or another disease? Contact Newport Laboratories for a customized solution. Our custom-made vaccines are produced using the specific diseases found in your area. These USDA licensed vaccines offer potential cost savings on vaccine and labor. Contact your veterinarian or Newport Laboratories the next time your cattle are in need of a custom solution. Newport Laboratories custom-made vaccine, because every situation is different.
This segment brought to you by the new Hired Hand Portable Cow Sprayer. For more information, visit cowsprayer.com.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan from DocTalk. Thanks for joining us here on the show today. We're talking about something that we do every day, and that's giving injections to cattle. And you know, the one thing that the Beef Quality Assurance Program has done is it's done a great job of moving the injection site from where we have edible product to a place where we have decreased amount of carcass value loss based on our injection sites. It's amazing to me that improper injections, even given to baby calves at the time of branding, can wind up causing injection sites and trim losses on fat cattle when they go to the plant. And so when we think about that, the industry needs to be commended for providing the proper education on where to give injections to, but also we have to give some compliments to our pharmaceutical and biological companies who took notice that intermuscular injections given in larger volumes are also things that cause us some issues with injection site lesions and lost product, and in the end decrease the profitability of us in the beef industry. So it's been a long time coming. It's been a big team project with many people having many different roles to get us there. So anatomically, when we start to look at pictures such as the one that we have up here, looking at where we're going to position our injections, we're going to position the injections in the neck region, and there's a triangle region on the neck that goes with three borders. The three borders of the injection site triangle, the dorsal border or the top border, is the nuchal ligament. This is the ligament that's about as big as a rope that goes from the pole of the head to the withers of the calf and helps the calf with the head up and down type movements. The next boundary for injection site triangle is the point of the shoulder. And a lot of times in the restaurant and in the packing industry today, we're taking that muscle on the point of the shoulder and using that as a whole muscle cut and being able to sell that as a roast or as a whole muscle into a roast or steak type product. So making sure that we're in front of that is vitally important. And the last landmark is the vertebral column. The vertebral column runs right down the middle of the neck. So between the middle of the neck to the point of the shoulder, and the top boundary being that nuchal ligament, as we have outlined here in this picture, gives you an idea of exactly where those injections should go. Now, when we give an injection, the injection, we're going to talk more about the techniques. But the big thing is, if you're given an antibiotic that's over 10 cc's, we need to only give 10 cc's of a product per injection site. And I always say that when we move from one injection site to another within that triangle, we want to be a hand's width or 3 to 4 inches apart as we move from point to point in that process to give multiple injections. It's one of those things that I know we harp on it with beef quality assurance. We visit with producers multiple times, but understanding where those landmarks are, understanding why we give the injection sites at the places that we do, are vitally important. Thanks for watching DocTalk. When we come back, our next segment is going to be about what are the proper injection techniques. Stay tuned, more to come.
Some call it a come from behind victory, an unlikely win, a reversal of fortune, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. This is our moment, our victory dance, because we choose confidence. We choose Zuprevo for BRD treatment. Ask your veterinarian to prescribe Zuprevo. Zuprevo is a fast-acting, long-lasting BRD treatment that you can count on to get the job done. Choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan from DocTalk here. Be sure to join me for Drovers Cowboy College, June 20th and 21st in Springfield, Missouri. We're going to have experts covering topics such as cow nutrition, treatment options, low-stress cattle handling, genetic selection, and economics on keeping your cow profitable. Be sure to register. Go to www.droverscowboycollege.com or give us a call at 877-482-7203, and I'll see you in Springfield.
It takes vision, dedication, hard work. It takes knowing who you can trust. At Zinpro Corporation, we have more industry-endorsed research behind our trace minerals than any other company. Proof that our patented performance minerals help improve overall animal health and performance. Lots of companies make claims. At Zinpro, we generate results.
If my calves start healthy and stay healthy, I've got a good shot at making money. That is why I trust Clostrix. It gives my calves the protection they need until their own immune systems kick in.
Calf raisers trust Colostrix colostrum supplements. Colostrix is USDA licensed and proven effective. When your money is on the line, trust Colostrix.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from Kansas State University. Sure glad you joined us today talking about injection sites. And the injection sites are something that you and I do every day to cattle, but sometimes we take it for granted and we might get a little sloppy with our technique. And you know, you always want to make sure that you use clean needles, and you want to make sure you never put a dirty needle into a bottle. So if you're going to draw up, use some sort of needle for drawing up and the other one for injecting. And in between cattle, make sure that you get any kind of manure or solid material off of that needle. We talked a little bit about the injection site and the injection site triangle. One thing I failed to mention is this: if you are branding calves and you have the calves stretched out and you're positioned on top of that calf where it makes it dangerous to inject yourself in the injection site triangle, the BQA approved alternative site for vaccinating calves subcutaneously when we're stretching them at branding is the dewlap there at the right underneath the neck and right in front of the thoracic inlet, or right in front of the lower leg. So another place that you can give that injection. When we give a subcutaneous injection, as I mentioned earlier, it's an injection that goes between the hide and the muscle. We want to put it in that subcutaneous space. So when we give that injection, as you can see in this picture, we are giving that at a 45-degree angle when we come in with the syringe. We used to tint the skin, call it the two-hand technique, where we would stick a hand in, pull the skin back, and then give the injection behind where we have the tinted skin. Today, with workman's comp, people sticking themselves with needle, the recent survey showed that 80% of people who vaccinate cattle or work on beef ranches have injected themselves or stuck themselves with a needle at some time. What we need to do to protect ourselves is go in at a 45-degree angle, make sure that we have the needles positioned within the sub-Q area. It's very easy. Use the proper needle size, 5/8 to 1/2 inch, and inject the product. If you're going to do an IM injection, we already mentioned that you're going to use a longer needle. We'll use the same injection site triangle to give that injection, but the difference is that you're going to go in perpendicular to the animal's hide. And so we're going to pass through the hide, through the sub-Q area, into the muscle, and deposit the product. Very few products are labeled IM. Nearly all products we used are labeled sub-Q. Two alternative products: when we use the Exceed product that goes behind the ear, at the base of the ear, that product needs to make sure you have the 45-degree beveled needle so that you do not inadvertently put that product into the artery, which could be very detrimental to the health of the calf if it would wind up at the brain and actually kill the calf. The other product is Flunix and Meglumine or Banamine. We need to make sure that we give that intravenously in the jugular vein, because that product can be very necrotizing to the muscle and to that surrounding area where the injection is given, if it's not given in an IV manner. Intravenous products given in the jugular, we're going to stretch that calf. The biggest thing is this. With IV is to make sure that you have the head of the animal restrained. You have the head of the animal restrained, then you can seal off that jugular vein, have that pop out, and you can give that IV injection. Be sure to work with your veterinarian. They'll be happy to teach you how to give an IV injection to make sure that you're delivering these products adequately. When we come back, we're going to talk about the remote delivery systems. You're watching DocTalk. Thanks for joining us.
Did you know long-range planning through the checkoff can help keep your business profitable? To successfully pass on cattle operations from one generation to the next, it's important to promote beef and keep farms and ranches profitable. Your Beef Checkoff helps do that.
I'm Will Townsend. I'm part of Townsend Ranch. It's a ranch my grandparents started. They actually raised their family and started growing their cow herd right here. I would be the third generation on the ranch, and daughter and expecting a son would be the fourth generation on the ranch. The Beef Checkoff has done a lot of things for the beef industry. The biggest thing, when you look at it from a 30,000-foot view, is that it's brought a lot of different segments together to promote beef. And I don't think that is done easily. I think that's a very big feat.
And when the checkoff dollar is collected, the money is spent for educational purposes. A lot of them are national programs, and the state takes the national programs and runs with them. So not only do our own local producers benefit from that, but nationally.
Yes, I really like the research and development aspect of the beef checkoff. Adding value and development of new products, new beef cuts, things like the flat iron steak. That's a huge deal, again, that with a segmented industry probably wouldn't have been done without the beef checkoff. And then both domestic and foreign marketing is something that really probably wouldn't be done by different segments of the industry without them all coming together. Again, that probably wouldn't have been done without the beef checkoff.
And I don't know who would promote our product if we who are raising it don't promote it ourselves.
Still using ineffective fly tags on your cattle? It's time to eliminate fleas, ticks, flies, lice, and parasites, and at the same time give them a shiny coat, making them more valuable. One fly tag can cost $2.50, but you can do this all for about a nickel a head. Introducing the Cow Sprayer, designed and built in the U.S. The Cow Sprayer is portable, solar-powered, and comes with a 25 or 40-gallon tank. Eliminate parasites for about 5 cents a head with the Cow Sprayer. Cowsprayer.com.
It's easy to spot the man who uses Synanthic. With lower volume and less waste, Synanthic steps up your deworming routine. Get more deworming with less dewormer at Synanthic.com.
Beringer Ingelheim Vetmedica Inc. knows the importance of beef quality assurance and asks you to step up and get certified. Go to bqa.org for details.
This segment is brought to you by the Beef Quality Assurance Program and the Kansas Beef Council, improving animal care and beef safety for more than 20 years.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk, and I really appreciate you joining me today. I appreciate all of you watching the show, and thank you when you come up in the airport, or if I'm out at some meeting, or if you just see me at the state fair. Thanks for coming up and saying the kind things that you do about the show. This show is produced and done to help producers and help consumers connect and do best for the animals, but more importantly, do the best for the people that have decided to spend their lives living with the cattle and raising wholesome beef. We've moved the, this is a lesion of the top butt, and this just goes back to the 70s and to the 80s, and we just don't give injection sites in the top butt anymore. We need to stay away. But with new delivery systems, and specifically where we can now deliver products via dart guns, it's more important that we go back and we review some of the things that we have talked about and still use that injection site triangle in the neck when we're using these products as well. Some of the things that we need to make sure that when you're going to use the dart gun, first of all, we've had a lot of debate on it. I think the dart gun is an effective tool that can be utilized out on the ranch, that both decreases harm to humans and can improve the welfare of beef cattle. And so it's one of those tools that is great for our industry, and it's one of those tools that needs to be used appropriately, and we need to give it the proper responsibility so that we can keep using this type of technology. You need to make sure that you're very familiar with the gun and with the darts, and make sure that we're using products that aren't inappropriate for dart gun type, whether it's for human safety or whether it's something that is not labeled or something that's being compounded or put in double strength. We want to use it per labeled directions. The dart gun is simply a remote syringe, in my opinion. So the same label and same product descriptions need to be utilized. You need to make sure that we use BQA principles. Let's go and give that injection, and let's aim for using the dart injection in that neck region, nuchal ligament, front of the point of the shoulder, and above the vertebral column. You need to really make sure that you identify the animals that you provide these treatments to. And if you can't identify the individual animals, to make sure that that animal does not have an antibiotic residue, you need to make sure you hold the entire group until the last animal that was treated is cleared. All of it goes back to proper records, and make sure that if whether it's, we can have foreign bodies, and a foreign body is a broken needle or a dart. If you do have any question that something like that might have happened, you need to contact your local veterinarian. And if you take that animal to harvest, you need to make sure that you tell the people at the processing plant that it could have occurred. Again, great technology, lots of things going on in this industry. We need to band together, not forget our BQA principles and guidelines, adopt new technology that improves human safety and animal welfare, and move things down the road. Thanks for watching DocTalk. Be sure to work with your local veterinarian. If you want to know more about what I do here at K-State, you can find me on the web at www.vet.ksu.edu. I appreciate you watching DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, and I'll see you down the road. Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
For more information about this program or previous programs, go to DocTalkTV.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.